True to the motto, for every pot, the right lid. Every relationship between couples is somehow different and special. Nevertheless, there are also couples whose lifestyle is so unusual that it's only smiled at from the outside or makes people shake their heads. Some of these incredible relationships we will show you today. Because today, it's about 8 crazy couples who lead a bizarre life. Among other things, you'll see couples who have gone off the rails together and caused a real-world scandal. A forbidden relationship that should never have happened because the partners are quite closely related to each other. And a relationship in which one of the partners has decided to simply live on as an animal. It will be exciting and curious. So stay tuned here at Wonderlane. Let's start with number 8. And probably one of the darkest couples in America. This couple from Texas, both in their early mid-30s by the way, has decided to live like real vampires. So their daily routine only begins with the setting of the sun, where they actually drink human blood to gather enough energy for the night. Extra for this, both also wear vampire fangs and have a real corpse pallor. In addition, their closet consists exclusively of black clothes in goth style. Even their home would probably be described by some as an eerie, creepy mansion, because here, of course, their favorite color is primarily black. Equally out of the question, the vampire couple's wedding was more like a ceremonial offering, with the couple exchanging crowns rather than rings. And because the vampires found their wedding so eerily beautiful, the couple decided to fulfill the wish of others to have such a goth wedding, which is why they now work as wedding planners, specializing in vampire weddings. On number 7, we come to an unbelievable story, and with it, to the French-born Sigrid, who leads a relationship that probably only a few people in the world could lead. Her husband is in prison, on death row, awaiting execution of his death sentence. But anyone who thinks that Sigrid has simply remained faithful to her husband after he was sentenced is mistaken. In fact, Sigrid and her husband Alan only met when he was already on death row. At that time, the French woman had started a pen pal relationship with a prison inmate after an advertisement in the media. Through the long correspondence, she then developed feelings for the convicted criminal, who has 2 people on the conscience. The whole thing even went so far that she immigrated to the USA for him, just to see him there once a week and enjoy a few hours of togetherness once in a while. In fact, in the meantime, she even had a little son by her now husband, whose time could be up any month. Some say love makes you blind. Others say love knows no bounds. But in any case, the relationship between Alan and Sigrid is more than extraordinary. Number 6 is an unusual couple who share their house with a very special housemate, the comic cat Garfield, or more precisely, with 14,000 Garfields. That's how many collectibles Kathy and Robert Koth have kept within their own 4 walls for 35 years now. It doesn't matter to the couple whether they have the fan items in duplicate or even triplicate. Even money is only a secondary matter in their passion for collecting. The 2 hardcore fans already spent around $60,000 US on Garfield watches, figurines, pictures, and similar items. Despite the incredible mass of orange tomcats in the house, there is still no end in sight for the couple. Kathy spends up to 5 hours a day browsing the web in search for more items that somehow have something to do with the cartoon cat. Contrary to the usual collector's attitude, they actually use parts of the collection in everyday life. For example, the couple sleeps in Garfield bedding, goes shopping with bags printed with the cat, or wears Garfield shirts and baseball caps. In short, an entire life dedicated to the 90s cat, which hates Mondays. Now let's move on to a couple who also have a kind of passion for collecting, but it is extremely illegal. Wolfgang and Helen Beltracci committed a crime over 40 years that not only made them richer by an estimated 50 million euros, but also put the couple behind bars for several years. In fact, the gangster duo caused the most spectacular art forgery scandal in history. With 230 fake paintings still in circulation today, however, no one can say exactly which paintings these are or where they are located. This is because the Beltracchis remain silent when it comes to their fake objects. Instead, they gave the public a detailed insight into how they brought the forgeries to the people. While husband Wolfgang took care of the artistic work, copying the style of famous artists and painting pictures that the respective artists could have painted, Helen Beltracchi arranged the sales and told unbelievable stories, especially to the auction houses, just to sell the alleged undiscovered treasures. In the process, the well-rehearsed team sometimes made revenues in the seven-figure range for a single painting. But when their lie was exposed in 2011 by using an unusual color, Wolfgang went to prison for 6 and Helen for 4 years. Their charge? Gang fraud. After all, copying styles isn't directly illegal. But with the forged artist signatures Beltracchi put under the works, pretending to be someone else, he clearly committed document forgery. After the couple served time in prison, the Beltracchis are back on the loose and not only tell their incredible story on talk shows and interviews, and even have their own documentary on Netflix, but can now very successfully sell paintings that Wolfgang now signs with his own signature. Number 4 are Anna and Lucy de Cinque, who call themselves the most identical twins in the world. The two of them certainly lead an extraordinary life. They share the same Facebook account, the same job, wear only the same outfits, and have undergone identical beauty operations in order to look exactly like each other. For the absolutely identical life, they now also have the identical man. Ben Byrne, a mechanic whom the two have met via Facebook, is in a relationship with both women. For this to work, the number one rule is that he can only ever spend time with both of them together. In fact, the three sleep in the same bed and want to marry soon, even at the same time. To ensure that the twins always look the same, they also want to get pregnant at the same time after the marriage. Equally out of balance is this following relationship. Although here, one part of the couple transforms into a different creature every day and deliberately slips into the role of a domesticated dog. Because when the British Tom Peters gets into his all-latex dog costume, he lives in a happy and, above all, carefree dog world, much to the chagrin of his fiancée, Rachel Watson. She doesn't find it funny at all when her lover turns into a dog named Spot. But just to clarify, according to his own statements, Tom puts on the costume purely as a feel-good outfit, in which he can relax a bit every day after work, and not out of, shall we say, romantic preference. In fact, he tries very hard to live like a real dog. Accordingly, he even eats food from a food bowl and sleeps in a cage next to his human bed. However, his unusual lifestyle became too much for his fiancée Rachel after a while, and so she had the engagement between her and Tom, aka Spot, called off again. Today, the former lovers are closer than ever, and Rachel regularly helps Spot into his costume and accompanies him on various TV appearances. More luck has Danny from Arizona. The 26-year-old also lives her life in the so-called puppy life and also has a happy relationship with Jake, who is also her dog owner. Although she doesn't wear a latex costume when performing as a dog lady, she is on all fours all day long, wears fluffy ears, and prefers to be walked on a leash by her Jake. In fact, the 31-year-old is absolutely happy in his role as the dog owner and loves to take care of his canine friend. So he gives her petting and spoils her with treats when she has done a trick particularly well during training. As long as everything is amicable, all that remains is to say, to each his own. The number 2 spot. The idea of a technological regression, such as a life without the internet or a smartphone, has become absolutely unimaginable for some people. But Sarah and Gabriel Chrisman have chosen exactly that, because for the last 12 years, the couple has been living an everyday life as if they were living in 1880. In detail, that means a life without electric light, but with petrol lamps, chopping wood instead of turning up the heating, and reading books instead of streaming. even when it comes to the food they buy. They take strict care to ensure that it's only goods that actually existed in the 19th century. Gabriel also quit his job as a computer scientist, which now doesn't fit at all into 1880, and now works as a librarian. And Sarah has also adapted because she writes historical novels and is a typical housewife, as the distribution of roles dictated at the time. Despite great sacrifice and an extremely cumbersome daily routine, the two love their historical life. In fact, at the time, the couple deliberately chose precisely this period to decelerate their lives and no longer be a part of the modern throwaway society. On number 1, we come to a truly disturbing and curious relationship that came to the public attention 10 years ago through a post on the social media platform Reddit. At the time, a young man posted that he had a questionable relationship with his mother during his adolescence. He told in the post, which by the way was verified by scientists, that the whole thing started at the age of 14. At that time, he became bedridden for several weeks due to an accident. Since he could not move himself, his mother then began to assist him with certain activities one day. This intimacy then continued for years. In fact, even his father knew about the special relationship between mother and son, but he accepted it. And this despite the fact that he also lived in the same house and still had a marriage with the mother. Today, the son, who has grown up in the meantime, is married and has children of his own, but he maintains a normal relationship with them. According to his own statements, he remembers the relationship, which lasted for several years, as a beautiful and good time. And that's it for our 8 crazy couples who lead a bizarre life. Write us in the comments which couple you found the most unusual, or which of these lifestyles you can imagine yourself. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more exciting videos. Until next time, here at Wonderlane.